Hi traders and welcome to the Technical Analysis Market Wrap on Friday the 12th of November. So we finally saw some breakout moves this week. We've seen some of the good levels break on a couple of the key majors and the dollar index is finally starting to move along. So we'll jump straight into the charts and see what we can identify for today's trading and early into next week. So I'll start out here with the Aussie USD. You can see we finally had that break that we've been looking for. It's been behaving itself really well from a technical standpoint. Obviously you can see the lightning bolt effect on the daily, but if you go down to the smaller time frames, you can see that all the way down, we had some really good pullbacks to the 20 moving average, and each and every one of them really did the job for us. So it smashed through the main level that we were looking for, the 73 sort of 30 area, and it's found itself now. It's been hovering here for the best part of probably a day and a half. I could see it. There is a little bit of resistance here. You can see the support right through this part here. So you're probably going to have a little bit of trouble breaking down any further before it actually retests up this zone, which is not a bad thing. I don't think we probably really want it breaking any lower at the moment until it actually comes back and has a reasonable sort of pullback. So you can see here, this is the level that I'm talking about. I'll just put a horizontal line there. You can see the tops through here, okay, and the support through this. That was a great roll reversal zone on the way up. You can see that was resistance right through there, broke up and tested it from above, and now it finds itself at that very same level, which is around that 92, the 72 sort of 90 area, just below the 73. So knowing that that's a pretty strong level, what we're probably looking for is that bit of a pullback. Ideally, in a perfect world, it will pull back up to the 73.30, which is about 35-40 pips from here. And if it hovers around here for a little bit longer and allows the 20 moving average to catch up, that'll be even better, because then it'll be the 20 moving average pullback to that zone, and it gives it even more strength to actually sell off from that location. So that would be really ideal. Still a lot of MACD power on the 4 hour going down. The daily looks ominous. The picture's a little bit clearer here. You can see the moving average convergence, divergence as well and truly on its way down. Hasn't quite crossed into the zero. Well, it just about has, actually, if you look at it really closely. It is just about in the zero, which tells us that the 12 and the 26 are basically doing the right thing for the short now. And also what you can really notice on the daily is the 20 and the 50 are not far away from crossing either. So we know that's usually a reasonable assumption that we're probably going to see a little bit more weakness. But in the meantime, I think what this level really does is highlights actually how strong that 72.30 level is, and this is the 73.30 level is. This is why we targeted in the first place. You can see that we've got plenty of support at that point there. So it would be quite surprising if it didn't actually pull back to that level, and at least on the 4 hour, find that resistance around there with the 20 moving average, and then gives the chance to short it again. So what we're looking for, pull back to there, and then we break this level good and proper, and then we start aiming for the lows again at around the low 72. So pretty good trading on the Aussie USD. Okay, US Dollar Cad also did the job this week. You can see that it hit the target that we set for it last week, and did it pretty quickly, actually. It didn't take very long at all once it actually blasted through the 20 moving average, and you can see on this candle here, it passed through all of the moving averages. We're not surprised by this, of course, because we had that big round bottom. The 4 hour really highlights that. We had a very plenty of time for the market to consider the level, and it was looking stronger and stronger all the time. So no real surprises to see it do this, but now it finds itself at a place of relatively strong resistance. Okay, like you can see here, if we can get it to a weekly to really highlight it, I guess, but you can see it was strong support way back here in 18. Very strong support through here, resistance there. Resistance and support right through these zones. So, it's probably going to respect this level. I would be surprised if it didn't at least respect it a little bit. But I guess it's going to depend on the dollar strength, of course. So what we'll do, we'll just monitor this one carefully. You should be well and truly out of this trade if you did take the long from last week. That is probably a given because it has hit the resistance zone that we were looking for. So if you haven't, or at least partially taken some profit or broken even or done something, I certainly wouldn't just be leaving it alone. But we're probably looking for a little bit of a retrace now. Look, the CAD's a funny beast. It can definitely push through and keep going. That wouldn't be a big surprise, but that's not really playing the advantages of technical analysis. So the advantages that technical analysis gives us, of course, is that we know that there are levels there and we act upon those levels. So we know that there's a level here. We're going to treat it with the respect that it will deserve, and look for a bit of a pullback down to the moving averages again. But what I would like to see actually is a lightning bolt or another lightning bolt on the daily, and then push through again properly. Like come back, retrace a little bit, and then have another big attempt at this level. and then just watch it try and get to around that sort of 127.50 again, all these peak levels around here. That is probably the next target for it. That's what I'll certainly be going for. But in order to do that, of course, we want to see an orderly pullback and then a break of the 125.80 level. Failing that, if it doesn't pull back for us and it does break through, I'd be waiting for a retest from above that level then. So let it go up and do its business, then let it come back and retest this level from above. That becomes a role reversal zone at that point, and then we'll be looking for longs from there anyway. So some pretty good trading there, good opportunities. Look, if you're going to go short on it, you'd be brave at the moment because there's certainly no signals to do so. But if indeed it did reverse around this level here and started printing a series of lower highs and lower lows, then in that case, we'll be looking for a shorting opportunity. But it's certainly not looking like that at the moment, but anything can change pretty quickly, of course. So it's going to take quite a few days. I wouldn't be believing anything short of a daily lightning bolt here before I'd be shorting this. I'd be waiting for a big time frame before I'd get excited about looking at a short on this one. So at the moment, it's all about the long, but failing that, a change of trend around this level here, and you can start shorting it back down to the maybe mid 124s again. All right, we'll move over to the US dollar yen today. So the US dollar yen broke down from the symmetrical triangle that we drew up the other day. You could see, it was well documented that we had really strong price action in there, and it pretty much fulfilled its pattern too. Even though it didn't do it with a lot of conviction, it still did it. The symmetrical triangle's pattern is the base length. It did that, so it basically fulfilled its potential. Then it's gone back up again now as trying to get through the other side of the channel. Now we know that this is a very strong level for it. The 114.25 to 30 level is very strong. It's going to take a bit of breaking, but it doesn't mean that it won't do it. And if it does, the upside for it is actually really, really strong. So we'd be looking for price action to lead the way here. Let it do its thing. We'll go down to the 4 hour. You can see that we're starting to build momentum here. It's starting to find support again on the level of that bottom of the triangle. So you can see that. If we get a big solid stab at the top and it breaks through, I think I probably wouldn't trade it in the first instance. I'd probably let it do its thing up there and then pull back from above. The ideal trade here would be for it to break the top of the triangle and then come back and test it from above. That would be ideal for this scenario because it is very, very strong. I don't like taking really strong levels on the first bust. So it's done its job though. If you traded the pattern, you should well and truly be already out. And now we're just waiting for it to either break the top of the triangle again or effectively sell off. I'm sort of leaning towards the fact that it's probably going to try and attempt the break. Dollar strength looks really strong at the moment, so the preferred trade definitely is to push up past this level here and start looking for longs again. But failing that, a series of lower highs and lower lows, and then we'll be looking for the short, probably to the same level that it's already gone to. I'd only be scalping it on the way down to around that 112.80 area. Any further than that, and I'd probably be just waiting for a little bit more confirmation of bigger time frame because the next level after that is around the 112. So good trading on the US dollar yen as well. All right, we'll go over to the dollar index. This has been the star of the show. The dollar index has been full of strength. It finally broke through that 94.50 area that we needed it to break. This level here was very important. Now that it's done that, it's playing havoc with the euro. Of course, we'll have a look at that in a second. But the dollar strength is looking like it really, really wants to push up. The 95 is a very strong level for it. If we get this daily close about the 90, above the 95, which is looking more and more likely now, we haven't got many more hours to go. The next, look, you can see it's really, really hitting that zone now where I'll put a horizontal line there so you'll know what I'm actually saying. You can see here, this is a pretty strong area for it. This is a weekly chart. So we've got, these are all weekly candles. This is a big, big period of consolidation there. Had a lot of trouble getting through here. Found a lot of support through here. And even at this level here, it stopped a really, really big fall. So realistically, I would probably expect that we're going to see a little bit of resistance around this point, but that's okay. We don't need it to get up and pushing to the new highs like in a big, big hurry. It doesn't matter if it pauses a little bit and has a think about the level. It's done what it needed to do, which is break this zone, which is great. Ideally, what it'll do is it'll float around here, maybe pull back a little bit, and then have one big stab at it and really push up higher. On the daily, it makes a bit more sense. You can see here, resting on the 20 moving average and then blasting through. It's at that level now though that we know that it's probably going to have a little bit of trouble. So a little bit of a pullback here would be nice. Not too far. Ideally in a perfect world, it'll actually come back down and test the probably 94.50. I wouldn't want it really coming down much more than that. I wouldn't mind this level that we were trying to break through tested from above. that would be a really good loading zone from that point to push up and actually blast through that level. But that may take several days, and ideally it probably will take several days because it'll mean we'll have a better and more solid technical analysis signal on what this is actually doing. So that is, of course, playing havoc with the euro. You can see here that the euro has done the complete opposite. But yeah, there's no surprises here. We've been planning this for quite some time, so it was actually good to see it finally do it. The 20 moving average, as you know, has been bearing down on this very, very heavily over the last few weeks. And yeah, that level, the damn wall's finally broke, of course. And that was always going to happen when the 95.50 on the dollar index was broken, or 94.50 was broken, sorry. So still good trading. Again, be very, very conscious of trying to reverse this because the dollar index is looking strong. Now, if you are going to play the pullback and you haven't been able to get involved in this, what we're probably looking for is the opposite of what's going to happen on the dollar index in an ideal world, which is actually a pullback up to around that 115.40 area from below. If it does that, that kicks in the roll reversal zone. And then we start to look for shorting opportunities from this level here. The 20 moving average should hopefully catch up by then, as long as it doesn't do it in a very, very quick fashion. What we really want to see is a couple of days of consolidation and a bit of a retrace over a few days. Find price around this level here early next week with a 20 moving average bearing down on it, and that would be a very, very strong sign to continue the push down. Now, on the flip side, for those who want to long the euro, you're going to need a serious change of trend on a daily and a break above this level, a good and proper on a daily, to actually convince me that it's going to go long at this stage. It's still looking very, very short at the moment. So ideally what we want to be seeing is, for a long opportunity, is a lightning bolt on the way up on a daily, and that's going to take a week or two to play out. So not my preferred trade, certainly not, but certainly a counter trend up to the 115.40 area would be a really, really nice opportunity. I think if it came up here, 20 bearing down on it, dollar index pulling back to that level and then looking like launching again, that could give us the short again. The easy target, of course, will be the low that's already reached, and then past that, it's about the 112.50, which is the next real support for it. So really good trading on the euro. Hopefully you're able to get involved in that one as well. There's been nearly everything we've been talking about the last couple of weeks have all started to move, so hopefully you've been able to capture some of those moves. All right, the last one we'll have a quick look at is the US 500. This one has shown a little bit of weakness over the last few days, as you can see, hitting all-time highs. So very difficult to read whether that is actually just a bit of market giving back what is essentially a very, very strong move, or is it the start of something a little bit bigger. Yeah, look, late November is notoriously a little bit weak before the Christmas rally kicks in, so it wouldn't surprise me to see it pull back a little bit and see a little bit more weakness, but hesitant to try and trade that because I don't really, the strength is just phenomenal here. So you've got to trade counter trends or pullbacks very, very carefully. The preferred trade here is a bit more of a pullback. Ideally, in a perfect world, it'll get back down to the 45.50. That would be the reload zone I'd be wanting to look at, because then you've got a roll reversal zone to actually help kick it in, and you can start looking for long opportunities from that point. So you might say, well, if you think it's going there, why wouldn't you short it? The reason is that there's trouble on the way down with a 20 moving average there that could really certainly halt proceedings. It is only 100 points, so I would probably sooner wait for it to actually prove itself. This is one of those ones where I'd rather see the proof before I actually trade it. That would be a great reversal zone. If it did that, you've got your target to go for, which is already predetermined. Failing that, of course, it breaks through there and gets a daily close below the 45.50. What we'd be looking for is another change of trend. I wouldn't take the initial break either, by the way. I'd be waiting for a pullback to this level from below to give us the roll reversal zone, and then I'd be looking for shorts from that point onwards. There's levels galore on the short as well. So I think there's good trading either side on this one, but I'm just a little bit cautious of where it's at right now. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, not really a big enough pullback to go long, and enough trouble in front of it, probably not to take it short. So trade with caution here, but this is the level that we're looking for. If we get that, I think we've got opportunities on both sides depending on where it goes from there. So I hope everyone's had a great week's trading. I think we've had some really good opportunities. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of some of them. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.